Hey, everybody, it's Dynamite Man CGI. Oh, I am in such a great mood today. Oh, well, for one reason, look at all this white, fluffy stuff. Look at all the beautiful snow. Oh, it's just beautiful. What else? Normally I do not like to track my personal life on YouTube channel or anything, just solely for the fact of pure privacy. But I'm in such a great mood today. I figured, oh, what the hell? A lot of people don't know that I'm currently married. I'm in college. I'm currently married. Been married to my wife for about 3 years now, and as of this weekend, just welcomed the first member of our family, our first daughter. Her name is, well, for personal reasons, I'm not going to share her name or anything, just solely for the fact that I really prefer to keep that private. If anyone who's a parent themselves, I'm pretty sure that you'll understand. But yes, in such a great mood. Just trying to get used to fatherhood and the like and everything. But anyway, just talk about a couple other things, shall we? First thing I'd like to talk about is actually, I am going to be postponing the Nuzlocke runs for right now, just solely for the fact that I'm trying to get used to this new lifestyle that kind of, well, not forcefully put on me, but just more along the lines of just what's the word I'm looking for? Just that. Well, basically, I'm just adjusting to fatherhood right now. It's just as plain and simple as that. A lot of things that I'm uncertain about, a lot of things that I want to get used to. Therefore, the Nuzlocke runs are on hold for now. For now, I'm going to continue uploading reviews, talk about games, things like that. Now that we're about 2 minutes and 15 seconds in, I'd like to talk about a game that I really enjoyed growing up. And it's probably one of the very first games that I've actually played ever. I really enjoyed it growing up. I remember being able to hold the controller before even doing anything else, really. And this game was on the original Nintendo Entertainment System, that is the NES. This game is Super Mario Brothers. It originally came to America on some unknown date in 1985. I remember just playing, the first few levels. The level 1-1 is probably the most familiar level to me of all time, just because it's just, the colors, the scheme, everything, the palette, just also familiar. It features, it stars one Jumpman, here now named Super Mario, along with his brother Luigi, who has just a palette swap of him in the original game. And everyone knows how the story goes, Big King Koopa, aka King Bowser, takes the Princess Peach Toadstool away from her kingdom and turns its retainers, aka the Toads, into blocks. It's a little gory sort of a thought when you think about it, but I guess there you go. Another thing, what else? So, one of the big major thoughts that kind of crosses my mind is that in the original American release of Super Mario Brothers, there are actually two different namings that weren't in the original. And actually, this didn't get changed until the 64 era. The princess's name is not Peach in the Super Nintendo or the Nintendo games. Her name is Princess Toadstool. But the Japanese had already called her Peacheru Hime, which is basically Princess Peach, roughly translated, I think. It's a little bit more. No, that sounds about right anyway. I'm not really the best at speaking Japanese either. I don't speak Japanese by any means of the word. And also another mistranslation. I don't know if it's a mistranslation, but it's Bowser's name is not translated in the original American version. It didn't get changed until the Super Nintendo era, actually. His name is actually King Koopa in the original Super Mario Brothers game. And Koopa also being the term meant for I think it's like Japanese for turtle or something like that. I'll look it up and I'll definitely put it in an annotation for sure. Another, well, just I don't know. The games in general are just really really interesting, especially the American versions of the games. And so this leads me to talking about actually a couple of the level schemes. So originally, as far as my knowledge is taking me, the original Super Mario Brothers actually has a scheme where you can warp levels. Of course, everyone knows the level 1-2 warp scheme, taking you to, let's see, you take the warp to World 4, and then the player basically just keeps going until 4-2, and then makes another world jump to World 8. Originally, there were only 3 levels per world, but of course, as the Nintendo scheming kind of gives you with the limited pixels, it is actually harder than the original, or than the updated version on the SNES. That is from the Super Mario Brothers All-Stars games. Pixels were a little bit more forgiving in the SNES era, as well as eras further on. In my opinion, this is a real true game. I don't by any means necessary mean to kind of down any other games, first-person shooters, racing games, RPGs or anything like that. What I mean by that is just that, everyone just kind of felt that challenge back then. I mean, games have their own certain level of challenge today. It's just that, it's just, it was different. There wasn't, there were no save states, there were no memory cards, there were no save points, there wasn't anything. The only save points that we had back then was in Legend of Zelda, which had its own built-in saving system, so that you didn't have to start from the beginning to try to collect the pieces of the Triforce all over again. And that was really helpful then, but as far as you start on level 1-1 in Super Mario Brothers, and you get all the way to World 6. You don't take any warps. You get all the way to World 6 all by yourself. You don't know anything about the warps. And then all of a sudden, you're on your last life, and all of a sudden a big Koopa comes by, and whether he's flying or just kind of turtling along, and you misjump, or you jump too soon, or maybe you jump too far and you fall into a pit and you die. Game over. You gotta continue, maybe. Maybe. But what if you don't? Well, then you have to worry about, starting all over from World 1-1. Well, it was worth it, because you had a scoring system for 1, and you had, it's, what are the words I'm trying to think of, what I mean. The point I'm trying to get at is that, with a game like Super Mario Brothers, or, even Donkey Kong, which I talked about last time, in a lot more detail, just that, the scoring system really made it more of a challenge, I got, 100,000 points on my last run. Maybe I could do better and get to the top again. It was just, people like to compete. And, and sometimes while you're in the arcade playing these games, because yes, they were originally in the arcade as well, you can, you had to have change quarters to play these games. And a lot of people don't really realize that anymore, is that, you needed money to play you need money to play games now, but what I'm trying to say is that, you needed change to go to the arcade and actually play certain games that you couldn't necessarily afford otherwise. And that was, a big deal back then. So what my point here, I guess, that I'm trying to say is that games from the 1980s and 1990s were of a different challenge than they are today. I could talk about any number of games for the PlayStation, for the PlayStation consoles, for, the Wii today even, versus, Xbox games. Well, don't get me started on Xbox games, because I have a really high opinion of them. I'm kind of biased